Let's see if it's gonna work for me. That'd be great. All right, welcome to our virtual vision board party. I am super excited to do this with you guys. We typically do this with our team of coaches. We have a vision board party at the end of every year, but I thought it would be really fun to offer this for our wellness community. And I actually posted this in my single mom group as well. I just think it's so cool because if you kind of know my backstory, I'm just curious, has everyone here made a vision board before? Yeah. So up until 7 years ago, I had never made a vision board. I don't even think I knew what a vision board was. And I thought it was like the coolest thing ever when somebody prompted me to be like, what do you want your life to look like? And what goals do you want to achieve? And to really kind of dream bigger for your life instead of, I mean, I was basically going through the monotonous motions of life, and every year seemed the same and nothing really changed a whole lot. And if it did, it wasn't in a direction I wanted to be going. Um, and it was so powerful to me, the concept of creating a vision and kind of crafting and breaking down goals, and then furthermore breaking down those goals into action steps. And it just gives life this whole new energy and meaning and intention when you have something that you're waking up and you're working towards every single day. And this can be something that you use in every single facet of your life. It's something that I kind of apply that intention to motherhood, or to, like one of my kind of random goals for 2021 is to make more of an effort to connect with friends consistently. Just like different things that you feel are a priority that you want to bring more into your life. I think if we're not intentional about those things, they don't really just happen, right? Life is busy, life gets crazy, the world is crazy. And we really have to take some time before a new year to think about what it is that we want our lives to look like, and then work on setting some goals. And the whole point of a vision board, in my perspective, is we can post pretty pictures all over a poster board, but if we don't actually kind of have the connected feelings to that, and or the game plans of how to work towards the things that are on there, it doesn't really do much, if that makes sense. It's just something pretty to look at. And I don't want it to be that for us. I want these vision boards to be something that you can look at every day, that you have the game plans to move towards and work towards, and that you can wake up and be excited to know that in time, with consistent action and intention, that those things can come to fruition. So I wanted to prompt you first to just kind of reflect. You can reflect on your life up until this point. You can reflect on your goals up until this point. Like, what in your life are you really happy about or really satisfied with? And then what are those things in your life that you're kind of like, I wish that was different, or I wish that had changed for me this year. Um, I think there's a lot of power in reflection, because we can also kind of see where maybe we didn't take consistent enough action to get somewhere this year. Or maybe we ended up having a lot more personal growth than we did, say, business growth, right? And reflecting and really honoring and celebrating the things that did happen that we are happy and satisfied with, because that kind of fuels your confidence and your energy for things that you're going to be setting. And I think that's really important to take time to celebrate, because having the confidence to chase the things we want to do is really important. So one, I don't know, I think it was you, Stephanie, maybe, if you asked how we were going to put these together. So if I can find my vision board, it fell behind my desk here because I have it taped to the window in my office. This is one I made at some point last year, and I actually made this one on Canva. So I Google searched all of these images that I wanted on here, like to start a podcast, write a book, life coaching. I put various places that I wanted to travel on there. Date nights. I put, kind of quality time with my son, health is wealth, financial freedom, specific business goals that I had, what I wanted my bedroom to look like, like to redecorate my bedroom, things like that, on here. And I made this on Canva. So I'm going to quickly screen share in case you are not familiar with
I was
Canva.
gonna I was going to say I also have mine, and I can share my screen. You can just see the desktop on my
Oh, yeah,
computer
that'd be
too.
awesome. So in Canva, this is just it's like a design. I don't, I can't even think of the word right now. I'm drawing a blank.
Digital marketing
Like a
design
program that you can
center.
use. I use this a lot for my business for team call graphics or like the vision board party graphic that I made for this. But you can go in here and you can design just about anything. It's amazing. So you click on create design and then you pick the size of whatever it is that you want to do. So say you could do like a flyer. And then when I did a vision board on here, I just did a basic like blank screen. And so I would go into uploaded photos. And then I would say, click on a photo I wanted on my vision board, which this would be on there because Control Freak is the program that we're going to start January 4th, right? And that's something that I want to do in full and accomplish. So you can paste that image right on there. And just for, just because these are the images I have in here, you can add them and stack them and move them around however you want. You can add text on here. Like you could say all in because you're all in on a commitment to something, right? And once you get all the images saved to your desktop, then it's very easy to go in here, upload them, add them. And then once you're done, you save this graphic and you can send it to yourself. You can put it as the wallpaper on your phone. You can save it as the desktop on your computer, but it's fairly easy to use. And I personally learned how to use Canva by YouTube videos. So when in doubt, if you can't figure it out, go to YouTube. That can help you figure it out. But that is how I made this vision board. It probably took me maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And what I did was I Googled and I saved all of the images first so that I didn't have to go back and forth to the internet to Canva, upload, get the next photo, because that would probably take you forever. I just saved I did this kind of goal exercise and then I saved all the photos first and then I uploaded them all and quickly popped them all onto the screen to make the vision board, and then I print it out. And I have it hanging right where I can see it every single day in my office. So when I sit down to work, I have that visual image right in front of me of what I am showing up for and what I am working towards. And then the other way, obviously, that you can make a vision board is, and I wish I had mine here for you. I have one somewhere, but a poster board. You can get an old school poster board. I think I might make mine poster board this year because it's actually fun to sit down and do magazine cutout clip outs. You can print out photos of yourself and your family or places you want to visit. You can print things off your computer. That's typically what I do. I like putting words on there, like words that make you feel strong or empowered, confident, committed, resilient, whatever words that feel really good to you, that are words you're going to have to be to achieve those things or become that person. Those are really helpful to have on there to kind of remind you. The more you look at things, I feel like the more you internalize them. So you can be creative with your vision board, however it is you feel. A lot of people like doing digitally and a lot of people like doing it on just say a poster board. And I also at some point, and I think it's fallen apart, but I'm going to grab it, show you. At a leadership retreat I was at a couple years ago, and like this one's like 4 years old, so it has fallen apart. But we were given these they're like cork boards. And then she just gave us pins. And so then we spent the next like 2 hours cutting things out and sticking it to the board. I personally would recommend, if you're going to do this, that you don't do it with pins because it's kind of pricky to touch the back of it. But it is kind of a fun idea if you're looking to make it handmade but don't want to do like glue stuff on a board. So does anybody have any questions specifically about how we put it together?
Also, a little side note.
Yeah.
In Canva as well, if you go under just images in Canva, you can kind of do a search. So like say if you want a picture of a beach. You can just type in beach and it'll pop up there too. So like I know for mine, like I kind of looked there first, and then if nothing really spoke to me there, then I would go to Google. But since it's already there, it's kind of saves you a step of like having to upload more than you actually need to.
That's a good idea. Never
So
thought of
that's also helpful too. Same thing with like the elements area as well. You can find stuff there too.
Yeah, that's true. They even have words and slogans and sayings
Hmm.
there too. Yeah, that's a good idea.
You guys tried to do it with an app on your phone versus the computer?
You can do Canva from your phone, actually.
It's a lot harder. I won't lie to you.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna front. Like it
I'm
is
trying to
a pain
think.
in the butt.
I used to, before I ever used Canva, I used PicMonkey, but I feel like it wasn't as, I feel like the features are not as good as Canva.
Okay.
You can do Canva on your phone. You'd have to play with it. The only other thing that I would say is you might just Google through some apps that do collages. Because I think the only one that I ever used to use for collages was Pic Collage. But I know that when you have a large number of photos, it kind of like skews the size of some of them, or it cuts the sides off. So that probably wouldn't be ideal for a vision board.
Right.
But I would guess that if you search through the apps, that you can probably find one that allows you to just make a collage like that pretty simply if you have all the photos on your phone and you just upload them all.
Right.
And if you can't find one, I'll help you search for it, because that's a really good question, because a lot of people do want to make them from their cell phones. So
Right.
all right, so this is the fun part. This is the meat and potatoes of how do I decide what to put on a vision board, because I think sometimes it can be one of two things. It can be like when somebody says, okay, dream big for your life. Like, what is your dream vision of a life, right? And we start thinking of these big, lofty goals, and immediately, because it's so far from where we're at, we go, well, I can't have that, or that's not possible for me, or that's just too far away, right? And we don't necessarily want to be putting things on there that don't feel aligned, because then I feel like mentally it can be more defeating than it is exciting. And you want to be putting things on your board that feel like, hell yes, that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it's a bit of a stretch for me, and it's gonna take some work and focus to get there, but it is also something that is achievable, right? So allowing yourself to dream and noticing what comes up for you when you do that. And Lisa actually taught me this, the one who's our mentor that does the lives in our wellness community right now, was saying that sometimes we try to jump like 5 steps ahead instead of thinking what is 1 or 2 steps ahead and setting that as the goal, because your belief can get on board with that, where you're like, I'm here and I want to go here, and I believe that I can get here, versus saying I'm here and I want to go here, and you can't get your mindset on board with it. Does that make sense? So like, dream big, notice what comes up for you, and then think about, is that something that you can actually kind of create a game plan to work towards? And if not, maybe it's something that you kind of put on the corner of a vision board, or maybe you also make a long-term vision board. I think that's something I want to do this year, because I do have some things on my vision board that I know are not possible for me to accomplish in just 1 year time. But I know that there are things that I want to have accomplished in the next 3 to 5 years. So just keep that in mind as we go through this. And then the other side of it is that sometimes, like I mentioned, we get caught just kind of in complacency or monotony, where we're not dreaming big enough for our lives, or we're not challenging ourselves with certain goals, or there are things that we really want to do. I'll throw it out there for an example. I really want to write a book. I wanted to write a book for a really long time. I've had a lot of people be like, when are you writing a book? And I have thought about putting that on my vision board for years, but it terrifies me because I don't know how. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to create how to plan it out. I don't, like how to piece it together. How do you schedule in time to write? And I actually put it on my vision board because it is something that I am finally to the point where I can get on board with, to say, I am going to figure out the learning process to be able to do something like that this year, to start it, right? And to put in time working on it. So my challenge to you is to dream big and find those things that feel attainable for you within this year that push you a little bit outside of your comfort, and get you really excited. Because when you make this vision board, I want it to be something for you that you sit down and it like lights you up when you look at it. You're like, this is badass. I'm excited. Because I can tell you that when I have clarity of these things in my personal life, that there's a very different energy upon waking up in the morning. When I don't have clarity of vision, it's like I roll out of bed, I hit the snooze button, and I'm kind of like, ugh, like what do I have to do today? Go through the motions. Versus when I have clarity of vision and things I'm working towards, it's like the alarm goes off and you're like, hell yeah, let's get up, feet hit the ground, let's get started. I have places to go. I'm excited about my life and I'm excited about the process of getting there, right? And that's how we want you to feel with the vision board.
And what's also really exciting is that this is the first time where like I actually made a vision board like the way that Dana described. And I'm looking at my vision board now and I'm like, check, 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 check. And not all of them were checked off, but like it's such a good feeling, even after like a crap year like this year, to look at it and be like, holy crap, like I did that. I did that. I earned that. Like I started that, like, you know, and like you just, it's validation for yourself too at the end of the year.
Absolutely. And it gives you more confidence to do more in the year to follow. It's like that you build that confidence and you build that belief that you can do more. And so it helps you have that momentum to do more in the next year. And that's how you can change your life in like 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? So, okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and this is why I asked you to bring a notebook and a pen, and I can actually type these out. I will type it out and share it in our wellness community because a lot of people obviously are not here tonight and they may or may not watch the recording, but I want people to be able to do this if it's something that they want to do, because I feel like it helps you have so much clarity. Is so thinking, we did this last night on a team call, but just more in regards into physical, financial, and career. But I was sitting thinking today of when I go to sit down and do this for myself this year, that in years past, I've been a little too, I don't know the word I'm looking for. I haven't made it like a wide enough range of aspects of my life. It was more like my vision board was very focused on like motherhood and career and health, fitness. And there wasn't a lot of fun in there, and there wasn't a lot of like personal goals on there, and or like finances, things like that. And so I was really kind of jotting down, and you could take and leave whatever categories of these that feel good to you or don't. But I kind of wrote down the categories that I will be looking at to get clear on what goals I have in that category. So, and what I'm planning to do is write 10 goals for each of these categories. And then I want you to try and get it down to 3, because I say this all of the time, but we can do anything, but we can't do everything. And it's like, you know, being a single parent, running a business, like there's really only so much we can be and do in life with the energy and the time that we have, right? And we have to be clear on what are the most important things in each category to be able to work towards them. And then those are the things that are going on my vision board. So these are the categories: family, personal, physical, and your health. This might be like your fitness, your nutrition, your physical goals, and also your health goals. I personally put on there mental health and self-care. So like self-care time, because I know for me, if I don't schedule in self-care time, it does not happen. That is why it's a category for me now. Business and career, finances, faith and spirituality, if that is something you want to have on your board that you want to make time for. And purpose, impact, and service. I feel like for me, life has so much more meaning when there is a service and a purpose aspect to it. And this could be volunteering. It could be aligned with the work you do. It could be, signing up to do volunteer work at your kid's school. Like, it could be a number of things, but I feel like life has more meaning when we do things that are not just for ourselves. So I have the category of purpose, impact, and service. And then I have the category of fun, because like I said, if I didn't plan these things before, they didn't always happen, right? Life is busy. I think it's important that we have some fun and some joy goals on there as well. So those are the categories. Like I said, pick the ones that you feel like you need and want to work on most. Maybe it's all of them, maybe it's 3 of them. And then you're gonna try and narrow it down to 3 goals for each category that you're most wanting to work on in 2021. So for example, self-care, like, I just wanted to give you an example of what that category, like, if that's something you're like, okay, I really need to work on more self-care this coming year, right? That could look like giving yourself 15 minutes in the morning for a morning routine, right? That's self-care. It's giving yourself some time to start the day for yourself. It could be scheduling a massage once a month. It could be, needing more time with friends. So you're going to schedule a coffee date with a friend once or twice a month. It could be going to get your nails done. It could be talking to a therapist. Like, there are lots of versions of self-care, and I think those things have to be planned. I just wanted to kind of like give you an idea of, once you pick that category, to get specific on what those things are, because those are the things you're going to be wanting to put on your vision board, right? And break these down, like I said, into, you're going to do 10 goals for each, try and break it down to 3. And I categorize if it's a long-term goal or a short-term goal. Like I said, if it's going to be a short-term goal, that's what you're going to be focusing on for the year coming. And then breaking those goals into strategy and actions is kind of what I was just saying. Like, I guess why I say this is because in years past, I may have said, oh, I need more self-care time. But all I would do was find myself saying, I don't have time. I'm a single parent. I run a business. I'm on calls multiple nights a week. I don't have time for self-care. Oh, I don't have any time because I pick my son up at 3 p.m. Like, and it just all of a sudden would be like, I need self-care. But I never was strategic enough to decide when and how that was going to happen. Or did I need to ask somebody to pick my kid up once a week so I could have an extra hour to go do something like that for myself? Or is it that I need to be disciplined on the nights that I don't run calls to go run the bathtub and sit in it with a glass of wine once a week or something, right? So for me, I know, for me to actually show up and start taking intentional action towards something, I have to be very specific on what that looks like. And it might be even for you that you have to plan when those things happen, depending on what your life and your schedule looks like. Often, if we don't plan things, they don't happen, right? So breaking those goals into a strategy. I'm going to give you a couple different examples for this one. And I would love if you want to put one of your goals or a couple of your goals in the comments, and we could kind of talk about, if you're like, what's the strategy for me to get to this goal? We can chat about it. So say you have a financial goal, right? You have debt you want to pay off. Let's just throw that one out there as an example. And let's say you need to know what the amount of debt is and how much you want to be able to pay off. And then perhaps what you maybe want to do is to look over your budget and what you're spending right now and what's left over, right? And say, okay, I can put aside $50 a week that I'm going to pay towards debt, which means I get to pay $200 a month towards that. And then you see what that is for the entire year, right? But it's getting strategic. Instead of just saying, I want to pay off debt, it's saying, I'm going to specifically save this much a week. And that's going to look like, maybe that's, not going out to dinner once a month or something like that, or twice a month. But setting that aside and having a strategic plan for that. Now, maybe the goal is to be consistent with your fitness, right? With your fitness. I think it's not enough to just say, okay, I'm going to work out 6 days a week. It has to be, what is it that I'm going to be doing 6 days a week, and when am I going to be doing it? Because like I've already said, life gets busy. It's all too easy to make excuses. We have to kind of plan those things in. I know for me personally, I have been committed to my fitness journey for 7 years now. I was never a consistent person like that before. And I know from highs and lows and ups and downs and kind of being all in committed and then, you know, kind of flailing around, that I personally do my best when I am committed to a program start to finish, meaning I know exactly what I am doing every single day. There is no guesswork of what workout to do, of how long I should be working out, of what I should be doing to get fitness results. It is literally, there is a calendar that tells me exactly what to do every day of the week. And that is when I am most consistent, but also when I feel most joyful, because I feel disciplined, and that discipline translates to more energy, to a better mood, to being more consistent with a lot of other aspects of my life, right? So kind of keep in mind that a lot of these habits maybe, or goals that you are working towards, if they're positive shifts in your life, they're going to positively shift other things for you as well. And that's really fun. I think it's really cool to see how those habits kind of stack up and add up, and shift things for you. So does that kind of make sense? Like getting clear on the goals and then breaking it down into the actual, like, what does that look like, and getting specific, and then putting those specific things on the vision board. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. This is my other suggestion. After you kind of break those things down, actionable items, specifics, you know, put those things on there, is that to check in with yourself throughout the year on this, right? Because sometimes we set goals at the beginning of a year and we kind of have these action plans and we're all ramped up and we're all excited. But we don't like stop a couple months into the year and think like, how am I doing? Have I accomplished any of this yet? Have I made progress towards this yet? Like, where am I at? Is there anything I need to like reflect on? Do I need to tweak it? Is there something I need to shift? You know, we grow and change, just like, you know, life changes. And it's like, maybe something doesn't necessarily feel in alignment to you anymore. Is it something that you need to shift, or is it something that you need to remove from that? But checking in with yourself throughout the year to see how you're doing. And I learned this more so from focusing on growing a business. Like, you can't just say, I want to achieve this at the beginning of the year, and then not pick your head up till the end of the year, because you don't accomplish things that way. You have to have kind of weekly, monthly, and quarterly check-ins on how am I doing? How am I progressing? This is even a really great check-in to do in your fitness and nutrition journey. Every, you know, end of the month, how did I do this month? Did I show up consistently for my fitness? Have I worked consistently at my nutrition? What did I do well, and what am I celebrating? What do I feel like I can improve upon? And that's the intention that I set for the month to follow. So there's always this kind of continuous progression towards a greater goal. And when we're checking in with ourselves constantly, we can never get too far off track because sometimes we do get really off track. And by the time we realize it, it's kind of like, oh, well, I'm too far off track to course correct now. And that's never true. We can course correct at any time and shift gears, and it's totally human because we're all human and imperfect and life happens. So make sure that throughout the year, you're checking in with yourself on these things. Another thought that you can do is to create a vision statement of sorts for different things. Like if there is, you know, say feeling good in your body, and showing up and nourishing your body with good food and showing up to move your body consistently is a big goal for you. Maybe you write a vision statement of how you want to feel in your body, right? And connect to that feeling, not just the goals that you have for it, but the feeling that you want to have around it. That can be really powerful too. I'm going to share some questions because this has been really powerful for me. And a couple mentors that I have had along the way have always said this to me. And I guess it didn't really make sense to me until after the fact of certain things, but it was not what do I want to achieve, but it was who do I need to become to achieve these things, right? And so thinking about, like I said, let's say paying off debt is the goal for you. Who is it that you have to become to do that, right? You might have to become someone who's a little more disciplined in spending. You might have to become someone who's a little more proactive about tracking and budgeting. You might have to become someone who is better at saving for a long-term goal over current instant gratification, right? A lot of things that we're working towards long term kind of involve that, like delaying instant gratification for long term gain, right? So thinking about that, but thinking about who you need to become, like how do you act? How do you think? How do you feel? What habits do you have? What qualities and characteristics? That has been so powerful to me, because I think there's a lot of power behind saying, no longer just saying this is who I want to become, but I'm going to work on being that person now, right? And it calls on us to rise into a greater version of ourselves that we maybe don't feel like we're currently at right now, but it helps you progress towards something so much faster when you start aligning yourself with that future version of you now. And you will accomplish things that much faster from focusing on that energy and that mindset and those thoughts that future you would be having. So I'm going to read you a couple questions that you can think about. So, and this, I'm just going to say it like this without giving you all these confusing questions, is think about how you want to feel. There is so much power in connecting how you want to feel when you achieve something, right? Or when you accomplish something, or when something shifts in your life. Say, for example, when I was a newly single mom and I wanted to build a business that provided security for us, right? It was because I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel safe in my life. I wanted to feel like I had something that I was excited about every single day. I wanted to have security. I wanted to have something that I was proud of, right? I could go on and on, but those were all feelings that I knew that would give me. And so it gave way more depth to showing up and working towards that versus just looking at a little picture on my vision board and thinking, oh, that'll be cool when I achieve that, right? It gives you something deeply emotional to connect to when you think about how you are going to feel when you get to that, or you accomplish that, or you make time for that, or you spend more time with your kids, or you go on more date nights, or you engage in starting that hobby that you've been putting off but wanting to try forever. Or you do that thing that's really out of your comfort zone, but it's on your bucket list, right? Like, how are you going to feel in those experiences and when you accomplish those things, and then connecting to those feelings more often? I know for me, who can relate on feeling like you have things you want to work towards, but sometimes you just like wake up and you're in a mood and you're like, I just don't feel like where you're like, meh, like you just feel kind of blah or uninspired or procrastinating or distracted or whatever it is, right? Like, we're all human. We all have a wider range of emotions. Is that sometimes for me, looking at a goal and thinking I know what I have to do to get there is not motivating enough for me. And so I have to connect to the feelings of it to kind of get myself in that place where I feel emotionally excited. And when you change your emotional state, it changes your thoughts. And when you change your thoughts, it's therefore going to propel you changing your actions, right? So don't forget that you have to work on connecting to that feeling, because whether we like it or not, sometimes emotions kind of run the show, and we have to learn to work with them, not against them, right? So connecting to those feelings. And then with that thought of thinking about how you talk to yourself, and I actually was listening to a podcast on this today, and I'm going to share it with you guys in the page tomorrow. Brooke Castillo is amazing. If you've never listened to her, her podcast is called The Life Coach School. She had an episode today on how do you talk to yourself, and I love this kind of stuff. I nerd out on it. But she was saying, like, for an example, if there was a guy that says, I need to get better at, right? And that sounds really innocent because we're just saying something that we need to get better about. It might be like, I need to get better at nutrition. I need to get better at consistency in my business. I need to get better at not procrastinating my workouts. I need to get better at saving money, right? And then she was kind of like, but what is the underlying belief when you talk to yourself like that? The underlying belief is that you're not good at something, right? And it seems very innocent, but it's very damaging if we believe that we're not capable of things, because we can say it all day long, I need to get better at that. But if we truly believe and internalize that we're bad at it, how are we ever going to progress that way, right? And I was like, wow, that's so true. So thinking about changing those statements and perhaps creating some I am statements for yourself. I actually have a lot of I am statements written in the front of my gratitude journal that I do every single morning. But saying I am good at, I am consistent with, right? I am awesome at saving. I am paying off debt every single month. I am showing up consistently to fuel my body healthy foods and loving the process. Whatever it is, but creating more positive self-talk statements, because we don't realize sometimes how much we're killing our own vibe and moving towards things by the negative shit that we say to ourselves. Like, we do it all day long, and that's something that we have to become aware of in this process. So once you do this and you think of these goals and you're getting ready to make those boards and you kind of get connected to the feelings of it, think about your statements when you're looking at that and you look at that picture of that thing on your vision board. What's like the thought that comes to your mind? Like, what do you say to yourself? Do you say, I have to get better at fitness so I can have a body like that? Or do you say, I am consistently showing up for my fitness journey in 2021 because I want to be strong and healthy and fit and energetic and feel strong and capable to show up confidently in my life, right? It's a totally different energy when we talk to ourselves like that. And then this is actually one little exercise I wanted to share with you of how to connect to your vision. And I actually learned this because I took a vision board course 2 years ago. I signed up for somebody's course because I was like, woo, let's learn how to make vision boards like the right way. And it was really cool because what she prompted us to do was to pick a song. Like, think of a song that comes on that gives you like the most high vibes, where you're like, oh my gosh, you just like love this song. No matter what kind of mood you're in, you're jamming out, you're singing, you're dancing, like it feels good. Pick one of those like soul feeling good songs. And that can be the song. For a while, my song was Glorious. I think Macklemore, Glorious by Macklemore. I loved that song. I would sit and I would look at my vision board every single morning listening to that song. But just taking a couple minutes every single day to putting on that high vibe song. And she recommended sitting with that song on and then looking at your board, but then closing your eyes and feeling the feelings of those things like we just talked about. So kind of dropping and getting those feelings into your body, because like we said, that changes your emotional state, which changes your thoughts, which changes how you show up and take action. And then the last thing I wanted to say is just the importance of necessity. I'm going to read to you really quickly one of the, how she put it on one of these exercises that I did a couple years ago. But she said, have you asked yourself lately where you stand on making this dream or vision come to life? Chances are, if you're winging it or going through the motions, the necessity isn't really there, or you haven't captured what that necessity is. So really getting clear on commitment over interest, right? There's a very big difference in being interested. I'm interested in making time for self-care, or I am committed 100% to making time for self-care, or I'm interested in being more consistent in my fitness, or I'm committed to being consistent with my fitness this year, right? And thinking about just the intention behind the necessity and the commitment that you have to move towards the things that you have in your life for 2021, and remembering to just find joy in the process. Because if I have learned anything along the way, is that, you know, when you're showing up daily to move towards things in your life, that you better enjoy and love and have fun with the process, and embrace the failures and the discomfort and the growth and the, you know, surprises and the curveballs, and see them as learning opportunities. Because what is the point in moving towards something greater if we're not liking every day? You know, it's like that. I was actually reading this somewhere today, and I thought it was so relevant for this. Was like, I used to think a lot of like, I'll be happy when, and I'll be happier when I achieve this, or I'll be happier when I make that, or I'll be happier when I can do this. And it's like, if that's how it is, that means we're never really happy in our day-to-day lives, because we're not somewhere we want to be yet, or we haven't accomplished something yet. And I think there's something so powerful about being satisfied and joyful and content with the lives that we have right now, while also being fired up and excited about moving towards the goals and dreams and visions that we have for our life moving forward. So I hope that was helpful to give you some clarity on how to make your vision board. And I know that we don't really have time tonight to actually start making them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a post in the team page and also in our wellness community, so that over the next week or so we can take time to make these, and then we can share them all together, because it's always so fun to see everybody else's and what everybody else is up to in their lives.
And I can show you mine if you want from this year, that is. I haven't made my new one yet. Oh wait, I need you to enable sharing of said screen. You have to enable it, Dana.
Oh.
I know. Stephanie, where are you at? Because I know you wanted to see mine. Come out of hiding.
Okay,
get in your PJs. Yeah, I called you out. All right, hold on. Okay, we'll just do it this way and see what happens. All right, there. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So like,
I like the bright pink in the background. I love it.
Yes. I wanted to kind of like, I mean, and some of them like, you know, are far off dreams, but like all of them I've at least made progress towards.
Yep.
And so like I got like, you know, a quote up here that I really liked. And like I'm a sucker for a good quote. So like quotes that I would just read every morning. Like especially this one, like people don't care about your business, they care about their problems. Be the solution they're looking for. Like that one for me was really good. And like our new house is going to be ready in like 6 weeks. We're still happy. We're almost there, debt free. I'm not there yet, but I'm a hell of a lot closer.
Yes, you are.
And just took a very brave new transformation photo that I need to gear up my courage to post, because it's one that is way out of my comfort zone. And then Diamond, I hit Diamond, and you know, still working on those shoes. Honeymoon that we never got was supposed to be a trip, which, you know, COVID. So not my fault, out of my hands. But, you know, I mean, we did get a new car. It was not this car, but we got a new car. So like I was pretty like astonished as I looked at it, and I was like, holy crap, like 70% of this stuff I've achieved, and like all of it I'm closer to achieving, which a lot of it is like superficial. Like I do. I want a pair of red bottoms. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's a thing. But I'm like, I'm a girly girl at heart. Girlfriend wants a pair of Louis.
I have hot air ballooning on my vision board. That didn't happen
Oh,
this year,
are you gonna paint your hot air balloon?
Yeah, I need to. Maybe I'll do that over Christmas break when I'm taking some.
I got you lots of painting things in the last couple.
Erica, did you have a question? I see you trying to talk over there. Are you frozen now?
Are you frozen?
What?
I can't hear you.
I unmuted myself.
Oh, now I can hear you.
Okay. But probably there's a delay. We have lots of snow here, 3 feet.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, I made my first vision board in college at age 19 in massage school in my medical ethics class or my business mastery, whatever. And like I wanted this health and wellness center, a little piece of like I've wanted this since I was 19.
Yeah.
I'm 33. And like it's finally full blown, like no more corporate jobs. But like 29, 30, 31, 32. So 14 years it took me. But like when I look back at the pictures that I put on that board, which I think my mom stole and is like keeping it captive because I've made so many since then. They all came true. Like things amazing, like I went back, I bought my house up here, or like that my parents bought it because of the divorce. And the pine trees, like the things and the healing hand and the roots and like all this naturey stuff that I had on this board, like are literally in my backyard. Like I could copy my house now and dreams now, so and they're on that board. So like whatever you vision is going to happen. Yeah. It may take 14 years. Like I could have done this right out of college, but no, I got knocked up. I had kids. I got divorced. My ex-husband put me in bills all the time.
Well, it's just a little, scenic route. That's all.
Scenic route to road less traveled.
I kind of did the same thing, I mean, I took a scenic route and took me on a totally different path.
These hospitals for PTSD and all this other stuff, I made more vision boards, and I took the magazines that the nurses brought in, and I cut and I cut and I cut and I folders and folders, literally pulling off because I'm in the craft room, and I'm like, a little piece of heaven is set up, and a piece of the pines is set up as my other property, and I go to other properties, and I go to Camp Misfits. So like every time you do it, you get more property. It's like Monopoly. So just keep going.
Maybe I need to start putting property on my vision boards.
Property, acres. Like you put all your sections, and I was like, one section that's missing on hers that's on mine is nature. Like,
oh yeah, I'm a nature lover too.
Yeah,
that's kind of in my self category because I feel like how I restore is in nature, so that's kind of a given.
You did
in my life.
I repower when I'm like gardening and like putting my hands in dirt, like digging in the dirt. Has so many ions in it, and it's so positive because you're so grounded.
Yep.
And that's the thing.
Gardening during quarantine for the first time ever in my life. I now have like 17 house plants, and I up until this last year literally killed everything that I ever bought.
Had a black
I love having plants in my home now. See?
Because you Tinder swipe so much, you got a green thumb.
I'm actually not on Tinder, for the record.
I was never on Tinder until 4 days ago, and it's amazing.
It's a slippery slope, Erica. Slippery slope.
What does that mean?
Yeah, we're stopping this conversation here. All right. Any more questions about vision boards?
I think you should make it a requirement for Empower to Lead.
I mean, I don't make anything a requirement because if people want to show up, they show up.
We did have to do our little 4-square little paper. And the funny thing is, this is so true. Everything I wrote on this paper right here, half of it has already come true. So I'm just like, I'm super excited.
Yes.
Like I just put some money down on a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath condo for my mom. to move her out of my itty bitty small 1-bedroom apartment in Harlem. And I'm
Are you
already
in New
down
York?
like 15 pounds and some other stuff, and it's just great.
Yeah.
Are you in New
Awesome.
York?
I love it.
I'm in both New York and Boston. I'm sitting in my Boston apartment, but I also have a New York apartment. And now we'll move
New
to
York.
Jersey.
I worked for Equinox, so I was always at the gyms.
I love that Equinox. Oh,
Cool.
It's expensive.
Yes.
but their spinning classes are really cool.
Mm-hmm. They own SoulCycle too, so they're a monopoly, but you can't say that.
All right, ladies. Well, I'm going to call quits because I have self-care on my agenda tonight, and I bought CBD bath bombs for it. So.
Yeah, I got to catch up with Erica too, like doing the math and stuff. I'm
I
excited.
did. It was witch hazel and honey.
I did mine yesterday.